Welcome back to my Create World. I hope everyone's doing good. I'm doing fantastic myself. In today's episode, we have something very important planned. We're finally going to build something pretty. So let's be honest, it's about time. I haven't released my first episode yet as I'm recording this, but I'm expecting a few comments about making an entire video inside of a square box with stone walls. So yeah, we need to build something pretty. But before we do that, we ended the previous episode already with a plan. We need to take care of all the resources gathered by our cool new drilling machine. So let's start with the ores. Now, in regular old vanilla Minecraft, we could just throw these raw ores inside of a furnace and be done with them. But as always, Create offers some much better possibilities. So first we will need to crush our ores into small bits using some crushing wheels. Only problem is, they are too big for a regular crafting table, so we're gonna need to make a mechanical crafter first. Mechanical crafters are super useful because, well, first they allow you to make larger crafting grids, and also you can use them to craft stuff automatically. So for our crushing wheels, we need to place 21 mechanical crafters in that shape, and then we can take our wrench and use it on the crafters to rotate these little lines, these connectors around. So we need to have exactly one pointing out of the whole grid, and all the other ones need to be connected directly or indirectly to that one, to the exit. Something like that would work perfectly fine, so now we just need to power it. So for that we're gonna be using a big water wheel, and I promise we're gonna get something better soon, but not today. And just like that, we have a working crafter, and it's overstressed. It's going too fast. Let's correct that. And just like that, we have a working mechanical crafter, so all we need to do now is place all the ingredients in the appropriate spots. And I know that there is a mechanic that allows you to like link some spots together with the same ingredient. I'm not gonna bother with that today. We might work on that later, but if we place this last one here, there it goes. Oh, it's so slow. Yeah, we're gonna need something better than water wheels for the future. But yeah, just look at it go. It's a very cool animation. And finally, we have our crushing wheels. Great, we can remove that, we're not gonna need it for now. And with a little setup like that, we can put the crushing wheels there. There's just one thing that you need to make sure of. Make sure they're spinning the right way. There we go, that's better. So now we can finally crush our ores, so let's make a little staircase up to here and throw them. Dang it. That's gonna be a bit dangerous. There we go, okay. Why did it not go in? There we go, like that, and we throw them in, and they're all gonna get crushed unless I pick them up like so. There we go, perfect. So you see, the gold is getting crushed, and soon we will have some stuff fall out. There it is, so we got crushed raw gold and some nuggets of experience. So those nuggets of experience are basically experience points that you can just take whenever you want. So instead of getting the XP right now, I can keep it in my inventory, and when I need it, I can take it. So I'm just gonna put it away because I don't need XP now. And now we're gonna let the wheels do their thing. Now that we have our crushed ores, we can go ahead and smelt them as if they were regular raw ores, except that it's not the best thing to do. We have some better options. So there's this thing called an encased fan, which blows air in a given direction, so we can craft it like that with a propeller, and like so. And we can use that thing to push mobs and items. But there are a few things that we can put in the airstream to get various effects. Using lava, we can smelt items without using any fuel, but for our ores we have an even better option than that. By putting water in front of the fan, we can instead wash our crushed ores, and that gives us a chance to get some bonus items. And just like that, we got our gold and a bit of quartz with it. So now all we have to do is automate the process, because I'm not gonna do all of that manually. So here's an easy way to automatically process our ores. So there's this barrel here, we're gonna drop all of our ores in there. There's this little thing here underneath, it's called a funnel, and it acts like kind of a dropper and a hopper both at the same time. So it's grabbing items from the barrel and it's throwing them down into the crushing wheels, where they get crushed, and then they fall on this conveyor belt, which brings them along here, where they get washed. So at the speed that the belt is going, it required 4 fans, but yeah, it works, it does everything we need. We get our nuggets. It's not ingots, but it's enough nuggets to make an ingot each time, so there's no actual loss. And just like that, we get some bonus items. So here, with gold, we got quartz. The iron's giving us redstone as well, which is always good. Zinc is gonna give us, I think it's gunpowder, and copper's giving us clay balls, I think. But yeah, always fun to have these bonus resources. Oh, and by the way, that thing here at the end, that's another funnel, so it's the same thing as that, except that this one's vertical, so it's just picking up the items, and well, as you probably noticed already, it's putting them inside the barrel. Now that we've taken care of our ores, we need to take care of all the other blocks and items that our drilling machine's gonna gather for us, so we could just grab them manually, by hand, but that's gonna be boring if we do it like that. Of course, we can automate the process, and it's gonna become a bit necessary to do it automatically, because that thing is going to become a lot bigger. So to automate that process, what we're going to need to do first is make some portable storage interfaces. So they are crafted with chutes. They're kind of item pipes in a way. I haven't used them yet in this world, and I don't use them a lot, but they can be quite useful. But anyway, we make portable storage interfaces first. And now we're gonna need to put one of those on our machine, so we need to disassemble it, like so. There it is. Place it here, spin it around, and glue it with the rest of the machine. Perfect, now we can reassemble it, and now it has its item interface. So what that thing does is, if there's another one right in front of it, like so, they're gonna connect together, and this one's gonna have access to all the inventory of the contraption, even if it's in a contraption mode. Otherwise, there would be no way to actually extract any of the items from these chests with the machine. So now if, for example, we connect a brass funnel, just like the things we have over there, these are andesite funnels. Here we're gonna be using brass funnels for a reason that's gonna make a lot of sense a bit later. But if we place one here and we switch it around, it's gonna start extracting the items from the contraption just like that. So of course we do not want these items to just fall on the ground, so we're gonna put a conveyor belt right here, and now all the items are gonna end up on the belt when it starts spinning. And I don't have my hand crank, give me a second. It's gonna be a bit better like that. So if we activate that conveyor belt, it's gonna grab the items and send them somewhere else. So what we're now gonna do is extend this belt over here, and we're gonna put another belt to the side like so. So it's gonna make a secondary path. However, items cannot jump from one belt to the other. So for that, we're gonna be using some brass tunnels. So the items are gonna get in from this side here, and will either get out from this side or that one. And the reason we are using brass is because they have filters on the sides. So we're gonna be able to put some filters. So if we open it and put all of our raw ores in it, we can put that filter on that side here, and so all the ores are gonna go through and exit that way, and everything else is just gonna go through and exit on that side here. So let's take a look at that thing in action. Let's throw that here, and if we start spinning the crank, it's going, it's splitting things off as we want. Ores are on this side, so they're close to the crushing machine. And everything else is ending up here, so it's going to be sent to another storage that we're going to work on in a minute. But before that, you might remember that we also have a brass tunnel here. And that's for the same reason, because filters can be used in, well, that way they're used in allow mode, but they can also be used in deny mode, so they're going to block certain items. So if we put it in deny mode and empty it, we can put our redstone blocks, rails, and torches in that filter. So that means that they're gonna stay inside the machine when we empty it. So we won't have to like go into the storage and grab these items and put them back in the machine when we want to use it. So now that all of that is done, we can work on the actual storage system. So there's gonna be a big cut just to give me time to build everything, but don't worry, you won't even notice it because look at that. It's already built. So here we have the part that we already had. So this belt is gonna throw the items into this chute. Talked about chutes earlier in this episode. I said I rarely ever use them, but they were actually the perfect solution to a problem that I had, because I needed to move items from this belt to that one here, and chutes can move items diagonally. So yeah, that's the perfect solution to that. So let's just start the machine actually, so we can see it in action as I explain how things go. So items, oh, we got an advancement as well. But yeah, items are sent here, they get then sent over here on this belt, where they're gonna go up, and then they are going to go on top of these vaults. So they are like huge containers, pretty useful. And yeah, they're gonna get filtered, so like deep slate goes in this one, cobblestone here. And yeah, I just filtered everything. I just grouped some of the stones that we're gonna get a bit less of. So yeah, that's all the bulk resources that we have at the moment. It might change in the future because there's a bunch of resources that I don't have yet. And finally, we have this last vault here at the end where we will get all the other items, everything that won't fit into our bulk storage. So yeah, all of that stuff will get sent here so we can sort it manually. So that's all good, all great, except for one little thing. This whole thing is very ugly, and I promised you something very pretty at the beginning of this episode. So we're gonna start things off with this elevator here. We built it in the previous episode, and I'm not sure if I made it clear or not, but it was meant to be temporary from the beginning. So yeah, we're gonna make it a lot prettier. So first we're gonna need to make this exit room a bit better, and to do so we're gonna have to move it down by a few blocks. So let's just head down now, and it's gonna be somewhere around here. So let's just make a bigger platform, and then we're gonna be able to dig out a bigger room around here, because yeah, we're gonna need some space. We're gonna need a lot of room for what we have planned. Luckily we have a big cave on that side, and it extends to that side as well. So that's one less thing to dig, but sadly these two sides are solid rock all the way through, I think. So we're gonna need to dig them, but we have the tools that we built in the last episode. We can use our big drilling machine. So let's just place it and send it on its way. And just like that, we have a big room. Might not be big enough, but that's a problem for future aubni, because we're not actually going to be working on this room in this episode. We're really going to be concentrating on the elevator and the elevator shaft. Yeah, so for that, first of all, we need to make a bigger shaft because it's going to be housing a few more elevators. And for that, we're going to be using the same trick that we did in the previous episode. So with the pulley, with the rope, and the drills, and the barrels, and all of that. Alright, that hole should be big enough to satisfy all of our elevator needs. We just need to make the walls look a bit better, and for that we're going to be using limestone, so that's a new block that we're getting from Create, and for the texture, we're going to be using layered limestone, so that's what it looks like. And fun thing is, it has a connected texture, but even more fun thing is, it does not connect vertically, only horizontally. So that's perfect to make huge bricks like so. Only problem is, since they have a connected texture, we can't make bricks all that easily with that block, because they're gonna connect together right here, but do not worry about that. We have the perfect solution for that, using this block here. So that's a pillar, so they are also connected texture. So yeah, they connect vertically, but they can also connect horizontally and on top like so. And they are directional blocks, so we can place them like that, and that's the face we're going to be using to make the rest of our bricks. So if we place one here like so, just like that, we have more bricks that they don't connect horizontally like that with each other. If we place another one here though, we see a little issue. They are connecting right here, but there's an easy solution. If we extend this one here, they're not connecting together anymore, because apparently if they don't have the same length, these pillars will not connect together. So yeah, I did not expect that, but that's very, very convenient for what we need. And just like that, we can make walls with a very large brick texture, which is great. I really like the way it looks, but we might need to add a bit of variation in terms of color, and for that we have another solution. We're gonna use andesite as well, so we can use andesite to make these same blocks. So we got the layered andesite and andesite pillars. So if we replace, let's say, this one and this one, is it gonna work? It's not gonna work. Give me a second. Like so, and like so, and maybe this one as well. Is it? It's not long, but we can place those here, and nope. It requires a bit of getting used to, but yeah, it allows us to make some very, very cool looking walls, I think. So now what we need to do is cover these entire walls in bricks, but before we do that, there's another little something that we really need to take care of. Enough with the stupid iron picks, we got plenty of diamonds. And that's the finished product. I did change it a bit from what I presented earlier. There's these bits with like vertical bricks, and I added some deep slate trims. Did I say deep slate? Deep slate trims. Because we get the same textures that we have for deep slate as well. And yeah, that's the whole elevator shaft. I did not build it all the way down to the bottom, well, except for this bit here. It extends to the bottom, but the rest does not. I'm gonna see what I do with that, because it took so long to build, and I don't want to redo the entire thing down there. So I might keep it like more of a natural look in the walls, and like, yeah, keep that bit here, maybe that bit as well underneath there on that side, and we'll figure something out. I also changed this room here. It's not the final form, trust me. It's very bland, but it's the first version. It's the first layer. It's gonna be better eventually, but I can do it right away because I don't know how big that room is gonna be, because it's gonna be my storage. And yeah, I need to plan all of that first, and that's not what we want to do in today's episode. So we're gonna put it on our to-do list, which is getting quite longer now that I think of it. But anyway, let's start working. So I promised this elevator shaft would contain more elevators than just this one. So what we're gonna put in here is some volts on elevators with volts in them, instead of just like transporting people, it's gonna transport items. So yeah, let's just build them. These two elevators are going to be moving items, as I said earlier, and this one here is going to take items from the surface, so let's look at it here, from the surface or from the bottom of the mine, and it's going to bring them to this floor here. So it's going to get emptied into this portable storage interface, and it's going to bring the items into the storage system. We're going to connect it here and not down there because we might need to filter out some ores, so it's going to be better like that. And this elevator here is only going to be connected to the surface, and it's going to be used to bring items from the storage into whatever we have on top. You might guess already what it is. If you guessed what is going to be happening on top here already, please write it down in the comments. I want to know what you're expecting me to build up here. But yeah, so yeah, it's gonna bring items up there. That's all it's gonna be used for, so I kind of needed 2 volts for that because it would be kind of complex to do all of that with only 1 volt. So all we need to do now is work a bit more on this elevator here because it's ugly and it's kind of the first thing we said we wanted to make better, so let's get to it. For that elevator, we're gonna need some new materials that we haven't used yet, and to get those we need to heat a blaze burner here underneath a basin, and throw some iron blocks into said basin with a hydraulic press on top, and it's gonna create, oh, there it is, some blocks of industrial iron. Where are they? Anyway, we don't need to see them all, we just need 1. Blocks of industrial iron, so that's how they look. They look very, very good, I like them. And we can break them down into industrial iron ingots, like so, which we can use as a crafting material to get all sorts of pretty blocks. So first, let's disassemble the elevator and tear everything down, except for this redstone contact. So let's start things off with a line of industrial iron blocks, as well as 2 blocks in the corners back there. Then we're gonna use these iron supports, like so. We don't need one here. And we're gonna put a frame around the whole thing. Didn't want to put one there, but there's gonna be one there, so I'm just gonna leave it for now. Actually, we're gonna make some pillars in the corner, 2 blocks tall, like so. And now we need to add some bits of spruce to make a floor, like so, maybe something like that. And yeah, that's perfect. Let's put those back there. And then we're gonna put some railings on the side, like that. So with these supports, instead of full blocks, we're still gonna get to see kind of through that bit of the floor of the elevator. So I think it gives a nice look to the whole thing. For these corner pillars here, we're gonna put a full block on top, and we're gonna add some more of those railings on the sides, as well as some trapdoors here and there to give them, you know, a thicker and sturdier feel. And finally, we glue everything together, and if my calculations are correct, we just need to activate the elevator, and now everything should be fine. Should all move together. That is perfect. So that is a good enough spot to finish this episode. It's been long enough. So thank you so much for watching, and have a fantastic day. Bye bye.